All right, everybody, welcome to the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Your boy's back, y'all. Your boy is back. So, first of all, let me just say a massive thank you, big shout out to Mac, aka Good Politic Guy, who filled in for a few days on this channel here for me. Everybody, go follow his Twitter. He spits fire on a regular basis. Again, it's Good Politic Guy. And go show him some love and subscribe to his YouTube channel, man. He started in this whole news and politics thing a little late. So the algorithm has definitely been screwing him from day one. But right now, he got just over 20,000 subs. Let's get this dude to 100,000 subs. He definitely deserves it. Very intelligent guy. Very happy I chose him to fill in and post some videos on this channel. So much, much love to Mac. Everybody go subscribe to him. I truly appreciate that he held it down here while I was gone. But look, I don't want to bury the lead, man. I don't want to bury the lead. I'm back to being Slim Kyle. Slim Shady Kyle. Actually, I'm joking. That's actually not burying the lead. Burying the lead is your boy's officially married. Crystal and I got married. We had a beautiful ceremony with friends and family surrounding us. You can see the ring here, blinging like Lil Wayne and big timers in the year 1999. All right, so I want to show you guys some pictures. I tweeted this the other day. There's going to be roughly 4,312 pictures, but we don't have them yet. We only got like a little sneak peek and some teases from the photographer. And of course, we took some pictures on our phones. So I'll show you what I do have here for you. It was a absolutely gorgeous ceremony. We had perfect weather, man. It was 71 degrees, sun shining. Just, you couldn't ask for a more beautiful day. So there's Crystal, who looked phenomenal. There are no words for how gorgeous my now wife looked. There's me awkwardly standing there. And, oh, who's that? Well, if it's not my favorite presidential candidate, who hopefully will be our next president, Marianne Williamson, she did the ceremony. And when I tell you guys, I got so many compliments. People were like, Jesus Christ, those were the best secular vows I've ever heard in my life. To her, this is like nothing. Like, she knows the exact words to say at the exact right time when doing something like a wedding ceremony, and people had nothing but fawning praise for her, and they were like, wow, she's really good at this. And look, Crystal and I, we didn't like read our vows ourselves, and it was actually a very good thing that we didn't do it, because the fact of the matter is, and you can see it right here, I tweeted it, man, I cried like a bitch the whole damn time. I was crying OD from like right when I walked down the aisle and was standing there, like it was the tears were starting to swell up immediately, and then forget it. As soon as, I saw her walk down the aisle and we're standing there and Marianne is saying beautiful words, God, it just, to be honest with you, I'm kind of embarrassed, right? Like, because everybody's like, oh, it's okay, it's beautiful, it's your wedding, it's joyous, you're really happy and all this stuff, but I don't know what it is, man. There's something in the back of my head that's like, God damn, you cried like a bitch. At least reel it in, Kyle. Like 50%, I'd say. 50%. Honestly, probably go a little further, like 70%. When you're sitting there, like, I love you. It's, just the manly pride is just, it just took a big hit. But anyway, other people loved it. So beautiful picture with Marianne. This is when we were describing what's going to happen in the ceremony. Here's one of my favorite pictures, Crystal and I. I think this was taken just after we were married. Here is me and Crystal at the end of the ceremony, about to walk back down the aisle, and look who's there, my best man, Corin. He was in this picture, and you could see all these flowers in the background, man. That was probably one of the most amazing parts, is just how gorgeous all the flowers were. It was like there were colors in there that I've never seen before. It was like they were inventing colors to put in our flowers that were there for decoration. And here's one of me, Crystal, and now our daughter, our little girl here. This was, I believe, like towards the end of the first dance or whatever, which we didn't do just me and her. We had everybody join us on the dance floor. And you could see some of the flowers up here and over here too. And yeah, so like I said, this is what we have right now, but we're gonna get a lot more pictures. I can't wait for the new pictures to come in. But anyway, enough about the wedding, the honeymoon. Everything was a phenomenal time. It was glorious. I am happy though to be back, to hop in to some news stuff. You can never really fully get it out of my head. There's always something lingering in the back. Ooh, I want to talk about that. Ooh, I want to talk about that. So here we are. And I'm Slim Shady Kyle today, so back on my Bulls stuff. I'm trying to not get knocked by the YouTube algorithm, which will inevitably happen at some point in this video. But anyway, all right, so what do I have for you guys? So today we have, I'm playing catch up a little bit because I was gone for so long. Sean Hannity sparred with Marianne Williamson, and Marianne Williamson did a phenomenal job. I'm gonna show you the whole thing, and we'll break that down. We also have plenty of stuff. We have a new video on the Jordan Neely killing that I'll show you. I'll give you, some of the background of that case, as I'm sure many of you already know by now. We have apparently Dianne Feinstein's health crisis, way worse than anybody knew to this point. Her staffers were hiding the situation for years. And then we have Jon Stewart going after CNN, but also kind of going after AOC a little bit by extension. So anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. So Marianne Williamson, she has been trying, understandably so, because she's running for president, to go on every media outlet that'll have her, right? And it's not like she's ruled out going on MSNBC or CNN or any of the other mainstream liberal networks. It's that they really don't want to have her, right? Like, I think she's been on MSNBC maybe once or twice, and it was the lower level shows. CNN, I know she was on at least once, but again, it was like a weekend show that's a little bit buried, and she was on a panel. And call it what it is, man. CNN and MSNBC are running cover for Joe Biden. They don't want to breathe any air into Joe Biden's challengers, Marianne Williamson or RFK, or if anybody else jumps in the race. They don't want to breathe any air into their campaign, so they're basically being indifferent, pretending like these campaigns don't exist. So Marianne has been trying to go literally anywhere that will have her, which I think is the right strategy, because you need to get your name out there, get higher name recognition, show what you're made of, lay out your policy proposals. So she accepted an invitation to go on Hannity. Now, Hannity, nobody's naive here about Hannity. I'm not naive about Hannity. Marianne Williamson's not naive about Hannity. None of you guys are naive about Hannity. So, it appears like she went into this saying, oh, it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight. Like, I'm going to knuckle up. I'm going to be ready for it. And so we have their interview here. Let's watch, and then we'll break it down as we go.
All right, time for the Hannity Hot Seat. If you watch Joe Biden's re-election announcement video, you may have seen something very interesting at the end. Take a look at your screen and see what it says on the bottom. Paid for by the Democratic National Committee. So the DNC is all in for Biden, and they've rigged the primary before it even starts. Remember, they're going to bypass New Hampshire, go straight to South Carolina. They're not even holding any debates, despite the fact that a majority of Democrats do not want Joe to run for a second term, but Joe isn't the only one running. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. recently entered the race, by the way, and he's up to 19% in the polls. That's a pretty big number, I think. And author Marianne Williamson, she ran back in 2020. If you recall, she is back in the race, and she announced her campaign before Biden did, and she did it longer than 3 minutes and didn't have to tape it. And she's asking Joe Biden to debate her. And she joins us now from Washington, D.C. tonight, the Swamp. Marianne, how are you?
I'm fine.
So let me just pause here to point out that which is obvious, right? Any, positive attention given to Marianne or RFK by conservative media apparatus, it is because they're trying to do the divide and conquer game, right? It is because they're just trying to basically attack Biden by proxy. So the reason I say that, and a lot of you think that's super obvious, and it is super obvious, I don't want anybody to fall for the tricks. This is like politics 101 type stuff, right? It would be like if MSNBC had on, tried to pump up the person who's a challenger to Trump, or DeSantis for that matter. The purpose is not because, hey, I principally agree with this person. The purpose is because anything I could do to create chaos on the other side. Now, that doesn't mean that some of the stuff he said there wasn't true. Some of the stuff he said there indeed was true. The overwhelming majority of Americans don't want Joe Biden to run again. But I just want you to understand what the intentions are, because the intentions matter, because that's going to change how Marianne approaches this interview. Because Marianne is going to approach the interview now, and she's not going to want to be used as a useful idiot or a pawn to just, attack Biden by proxy just to take down Biden. She wants to come here to make her campaign be more viable, get more eyeballs, get her policy message out there, etc. So what she has to do, this is actually not an easy thing to do. It's a high wire balancing act for Marianne Williamson here, because you don't want to go into a Hannity interview and just agree with Hannity with all of his criticisms of Biden, whether they're true or not true. You don't want to do that at all. You want to go in there. You can criticize Biden when it's fair, but you also want to push back, not just against the Biden agenda, but also against Fox News and Sean Hannity and their ideology, which is even more egregious and pathetic and worse than corporate Democrats. So let's see how she managed that.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I actually am going to start out in agreement with you. I think we'll disagree on other stuff. I think it would be fair for Joe Biden to debate you and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Why do you think he's not debating? And do you believe he's in a steep cognitive decline?
Well, I think in a democracy, what's important is that people have a right to see their options. I think this is an extremely important time in American history, and anyone who feels moved to run for president should have their say, and the voters should hear what they have to say. They should hear their agenda, and the voters should decide who they want to be president.
Okay, how about part two of my question? Do you believe he's in a major cognitive decline?
I'm not a doctor. I'm not somebody who is testing his brain. I think every American citizen has to look at the president and listen to the president.
Does he seem like some...
Notice how much he's cutting her off. He's going to keep doing this the entire interview. And by the way, it's so egregious, even his own viewers. The Vanguard tweeted, like, here are some of the comments underneath this video right here. And a lot of them are like, geez, I'm no fan of Marianne, but Sean, let her finish a damn answer. Jesus Christ. And it's true.
That has the strength and stamina and is articulate to be president?
You know, I wouldn't be running if I didn't think that I was a better candidate. I think I have the energy, and certainly I have the ideas that are better.
You got to answer my
question.
Because
I'm not going to come on Fox News and talk to you, Sean, and say something like that. I'm not going to. I think every American can just...
Did you see his face there? He's like, got that. We're caught. Our game is up. So look, credit to Marianne here, because if you just take the bait, in order for Marianne to win, she needs to win normie Democrats. The biggest swath in a Democratic primary is normie Democrats, right? That's almost tautologically true. But then you also have to win over, people who are moderates, independents, people who are left of normie Democrats. So in order to win, you can't alienate those people. So her line is like, of course I'm a better candidate than Joe Biden. Of course he lost a step, but am I going to come on here and say he has dementia to your Fox News audience and throw red meat to the seal? Of course I'm not going to do that. I'm not here to play your game, Sean. Brilliant, because not only is she positioning herself, I'm different from Biden, I'm better from Biden, but also I know what you're doing, Fox News, and I'm not going to play that game. And Hannity's face was like, oh, so she's on to our tricks.
But if you believe it, you would tell us, would you?
My mind doesn't go into that. I don't believe that the energy is being demonstrated that I believe will be necessary in order to take on either DeSantis or Trump in 2024. And if I did, yeah.
All right, you said that we need an economic U-turn in this country.
Yes.
What system economically do you support? I'm a capitalist. I believe in limited government, more freedom, lower taxes.
He's such a caricature, man. He's like a G.I. Joe doll that they stuck, like a Ken doll they stuck on air. It's just, he's like a puppet for big donors with their hand up his ass, moving his mouth. I believe in limited government, lower taxes, more freedom. Oh, really? You believe in more freedom? So you're in favor of people transitioning if they're trans? You're in favor of ending the drug war because, hey, it's a matter of freedom, put in your body whatever you want, as long as you're not hurting anybody else. Oh, that's right. You don't believe in those things. You don't believe in those things at all. And when he says lower taxes, by the way, he means like the Trump tax cuts where 83% of the benefits went to the top 1%. He doesn't mean cut taxes for regular people. But he's like, oh, Marianne, I'm a capitalist. What are you?
Energy independence. What do you want?
You know, I think our capitalist system has lost some of its soul over the last 50 years. I believe that capitalism, Adam Smith, who is the main architect of free market capitalism, said that free market capitalism cannot exist outside an ethical context. I think public policy has to have ethics. So I believe that the American people, our safety, our health, and our well-being should come before short-term profits for huge corporate entities. I believe that there are other stakeholders.
She's just so much smarter than him. It's unbelievable. He's doing like fortune cookie slogans, and she's giving like a master's dissertation.
You're throwing out a lot of cliches. I want to dig down deep here. What do you think? I want, for example, lower taxes, more freedom, less government bureaucracy, and I want energy independence. I want borders secure. I want law and order. What do you want?
Okay, so let's go with each one. The first one, take each one at a time. The first one you said was lower taxes. I want lower taxes for middle class people. I want higher taxes for people who have huge amounts of wealth and are living at the effect of public policies. How high? I want to see a wealth tax. I think people who, first of all, I think we should, look, in 2017, we had a $2 trillion tax cut. 83 cents of every dollar went to the very richest Americans and the very
let's see
richest
how smart you are in
corporations.
the economy.
The middle class,
what percentage of
She's not letting him. He's not letting her answer. He's not letting her answer, and she's running circles around him here.
income taxes do the bottom 50% of Americans pay? What percent?
It's not about the. I'm not going to talk to you about the bottom middle class, the bottom half. I'm going to talk to you about the upper class, the 1%. So you asked me what I want to see. I want to see 50 million or more. I think people should pay an extra 2% in taxes. Wouldn't affect their day. And if someone has $1 billion, they should pay an extra 1%.
So you want to each American based on their need, from each American according to their ability.
Oh, Marianne, so you want higher taxes on the wealthy? You're Karl Marx. Come on, Sean. God, didn't this get tired in like 1998? I think he came on air in 1996. By 1998, he had to be like, all right, I can't keep playing these gotcha political games on a daily basis where I have the IQ of a gnat. This has to get boring, doesn't it, Sean?
You know, talk about cliches. Come on.
No, I'm asking.
I think that we should have fair taxation.
Is that a statement that you agree with? I'm asking.
Well, as a concept, but once again, that we should talk about what's
Karl
real
Marx,
in this country.
that's Karl Marx's words, not mine.
Well, thank God I didn't say yes, because then you'd be calling me a Marxist.
You kind of did,
look,
but
Sean,
you know.
Well, no, I didn't. Look, Sean, look, I did.
Let me ask you.
You didn't trap me there.
Would you support me in this? Do you support energy independence, and we ought not be importing oil from countries that hate us and countries like Venezuela? Would you support me on that?
I think that I would support you that we should not be getting oil or selling arms, by the way, to countries that hate us. But I also want to see a habitable planet in 100 years. I want to see massive investments in green energy. I want to see a just transition from a dirty economy to a clean economy.
How
and for
much
that
money?
matter,
We're now spending over $50 billion. Every government agency is spending something on.
By the way, let's just point this out. He's like, I support energy independence. Do you? And her reaction is, not only do I support energy independence, I support it more than you because I want to get off oil completely. Let's, basically have a new economic boom centered around green and renewable technology and energy. And he's like, I did not like that. I support energy independence, but not in the way you described. Come on, man.
The climate alarmist religious cult. How many
come on.
billions of dollars do you want to invest in it? Give me a number.
Listen, we have $858 billion.
He's so unserious. He's not engaging in good faith. Climate alarmist religious cult. So what are you saying, Sean? Any amount of investment in green and renewable technology is a bad idea? Is immoral, is unethical, is not right? Is that what you truly believe? He's not engaging in good faith. Like, if somebody was engaging in good faith, he might say, okay, I see what you're saying, but I'm not in favor of investing as much as you are in new energy sources or whatever. But it's not that. It's totally swatting it aside and swallowing hook, line, and sinker ExxonMobil and Chevron propaganda about how maybe climate change is not happening or it's actually a good thing. Maybe that.
Right now in our military expenditure every year, and they are the largest institutional emitter of greenhouse gases. And the Congressional Budget Office, hardly a liberal organization, says that we could take out $1 trillion of that over the next decade and cut greenhouse gases.
But natural gas is a clean-burning fossil fuel. All right, I got to ask you about some of the weird stuff you've said.
Did you just say natural gas is clean? This is what I mean. This is not a serious guy. I'm happy that this is a contentious interview.
Okay.
Okay, you have said your body is merely your space station, from whence you beam your love to the universe. Don't just relate to the station, relate to the beams. You said everyone feels on some level like an alien in this world because we are. We come from another realm of consciousness and long from home. What the hell does that mean?
I'm surprised to hear you say that because I would think that you would recognize that as a very traditional religious and spiritual perspective, that we are spirits, that God created us as spirits. And that is what we are, and we are here to love one another. And we don't feel deeply at home on a spiritual level on this planet because this world is not based on love the way it should be. I think those words are
all right, that's a fair answer.
Oh, man, she's good, dude. She flipped it right back on him. Because remember, she's talking to a guy right now who believes in a virgin birth, a dead guy, a guy rose from the dead. He's three people, but he's one person. He's God, the Holy Spirit, or whatever however the Holy Trinity thing goes. Like, he walked on water. you know, there was parting of the Red Sea. This is a guy who believes in the Bible, or at least nominally believes in the Bible. And he's like, what is this spiritual stuff you're saying? What happened, Sean? All of a sudden, if it's to own Marianne Williamson, you became like a nihilist atheist? What happened? Now, look, you guys know my perspective. I'm actually an atheist, right? And so when I hear Marianne say that stuff, that doesn't necessarily appeal to me, right? But that doesn't really matter much in the context of the conversation. She's saying, hey, according to your own ideology, this is something that should like fit right in. You know, I thought you believed in and agreed with a spiritual perspective. And she handled that so well that he was like, oh, okay, good point. Good point.
That is what we are, and we are here to love one another. And we don't feel deeply at home on a spiritual level on this planet because this world is not based on love the way it should be. I think those words are
all right. That's a fair answer. I'm a Christian. I believe in God the Father, that God created every man, woman, and child on this earth. I believe.
So he's like, you know that thing I just read to try to make you sound ridiculous? I'm going to raise that and tell you I believe something more specific and more absurd. Because Marianne was just talking about, like, feelings. Like, oh, we feel sometimes like we're aliens or whatever. He's like, no, I believe the one dude created everything and stuff, bro.
Jesus Christ, his son, that died and resurrected, came back from the dead to save all of us from our sins. That's what I believe. So, anyway, Marianne, I appreciate you taking the heat. Thanks for being here. You're welcome. Anytime.
Okay, so let's see. Hannity was so disrespectful towards this intelligent and kind candidate. Shame on him. Sean isn't being a good interviewer. He's just trying to make her look stupid, and he failed. She actually demolished Sean on his own show. This is the most disrespectful interview ever. Could someone on Fox News please give Marianne a chance to speak? Mad respect for this woman. I don't agree with her politics, but she just won herself a fan. She's got my vote. I like her. It's so refreshing to see someone think on her feet, agreeing with some things, disagreeing with other things as warranted, stay honest, and tell the truth the whole time. Hold her ground even when having some irrational jabs thrown at her. I mean, guys, this is what you want in a candidate, right? You want somebody who ideologically is on the left. Ideologically, she wants universal health care. She wants free college. She wants a living wage. She wants more unions. She wants to end the corruption. I mean, you go down the list. She has a phenomenal policy platform, but she's also a phenomenal communicator and can connect with people who aren't inside her bubble, and can connect with people who maybe even disagree with her on some level, and they view her as honest, and can connect with people in a way that even I can't connect with people, right? I can't fake the funk on the spiritual stuff, right? I can't get out here and pretend like I'm some sort of, mystical or spiritual type person. So that leaves a whole segment of the population, probably a majority of the population, that wouldn't really vibe with me, right? They think I'm too hard-nosed, rigid in my thinking, etc. She doesn't have that problem, right? And she also could win over people like me who are more rigid and not spiritual, etc. So, I mean, I think this was a phenomenal interview. I think she knocked it out of the park. I wish I could have covered it sooner, but you guys know I've been pretty busy lately, if I don't say so myself. But awesome stuff here from Marianne. Look, number one, Biden must debate her. Number two, you got to have CNN. You got to have MSNBC. You got to have these main liberal networks, mainstream media networks, who are preaching to their liberal bubble. If she can get on those networks, she can absolutely land with these. I have no doubt about it. No doubt about it whatsoever. It's just a matter of them not blacklisting her and being indifferent to her on purpose because they're trying to protect Biden. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.